All right, everybody, welcome. Let's a day we didn't think would ever come. It's here, and I can't quit coughing. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? I haven't had anything to drink yet, I swear. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. It's not Friday night. It's 5:50 p.m., but it's not Friday night. Arkansas is going to tip off tonight against against Georgia on the road. The Saban stuff just kind of took me by surprise. So there you go. There's a really simple graphic right there for you. There's Saban, and then Arkansas / Georgia. I don't have the skills, all the cool graphics and the image coming in and out and all this fancy cool stuff. I used to have a banner at the bottom, but it went backwards, and I kept it up because apparently it annoyed some people. I was like, well, I'm going to keep it up. If it bothers you that much, now I'm just going to keep it. And then over time, I was like, all right, I'm going to take it down. That's what you get right there. That's simple graphic. At least the Tuss Talk with Ty logo looks sweet, though. All right. Sam Pittman to Alabama. Ty, my guy, finally got to catch another live stream. Yeah, what's up, man? Drooby Dooby Doo Show. How you doing? Been a minute. Dan Enos, Alabama. Here's the interesting part about Bama. We can rattle off all these really big names. Appreciate you, John Haas, for the retweet. Oh, Tercer with the super chat. Party like it's 2006. That's right. Good Lord. He has been he took the job. My God, he has been there so long. So much has happened. Will there ever be another Nick Saban? Like, will there ever be anyone to do what the guy did? I get it. Razorback fans can't stand the guy. They hate him. So does everybody else. But at the same time, you have to kind of tip your cap. I mean, my God, he's the greatest college football coach of all time, and it happened during our lifetimes. It helps that he was at Alabama, sure, but it's not like the guy didn't have success at LSU. We know what he did there in his short time with the Tigers. You know, when you could do it at multiple places, that's why, and I'm going to stir the pot with this, that's why Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Oh. God, that hurt. That hurt saying that. How can you deny what Brady did? Well, he had all these great receivers. Okay, fair enough. But all the great ones do, because great receivers want to play, or great skill position guys want to play with great quarterbacks. Jordan had Pippen, right? Larry Bird was always surrounded with some really good talent. The Celtics. You know, you had KG in the 2000s when they finally came back to relevance. KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, The Truth, Rondo, right? I mean, great bench play. Like, yeah, okay, fine. But Brady's the greatest. Saban was at his crutch, his handicap, or not handicap, his crutch was being at Alabama. Could he have done that elsewhere like we already established? He did it at LSU, but I don't know that he would have had the level of greatness if he was anywhere else. I just don't. Like, you know, I hear people all the time, they're like, yeah, if Saban came here, he would win multiple national titles. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think he would have near the success that he did at Alabama. So many things factor into it, right? You have to mention geography. It matters. Where your university is located matters. In Fayetteville, let's be real. Former coaches have even said it's in the middle of nowhere. Fayetteville is, you know, you've got to travel to go somewhere my God, you go to Tulsa for Ted's. Some of you guys know what's up about Ted's. Or to the Tulsa Zoo. They've got all sorts of stuff. You got to go to Branson. Silver Dollar City's in Branson, right? You have to leave NWA. Not that NWA isn't great. Not that Northwest Arkansas isn't great. I'm just saying it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, really. It is growing. Fayetteville has benefited from it greatly. It is one of the nicest places in the country to live. It's just hard to sell that to recruits. However, when you're where they're at, when you're in that part of the country, you're so close to Florida, you're so close to the Carolinas. I mean, and it also helps again that you're also just Alabama. Just what it is, And so there's also the other side to this, which is pressure. We can mention, I'm going to go over some of the names here in a minute. There's a lot of pressure, man. There's so much pressure on the next guy to come in and take that job over. I'm happier than a drunk accidentally tripping over a still. What's up, Richard Neal? How you doing? Long time no see. Money can't always buy you happiness. Coach K and Saban proving that. Well, I mean, the guy's, what is he, 73? I mean, I think he's fine, I mentioned earlier on X that in the span of a little over a year, the NCAA lost Coach K and now Saban. There's been a lot of change in both sports, coaching changes, coaching turnover. Yeah, that hurt me too, Ty. Laugh out loud, but Brady was that guy. I hate to say it. I mean, he just is. He was that guy. You have to acknowledge that. Joe Burrow is the greatest. Good Lord, Megan. Welcome to Discord. But no. He's got about 15 years to go. I truly believe we win tonight, says Honcho. Yeah, we're going to talk about the game here in a little bit. So if you are joining, we're not just going to talk about Saban. We are going to touch on this game tonight a little bit. Good evening, Ty. Cheers to Bama seeing 7-5 again. I'm telling you, man, it's not like Saban walked in there and started winning overnight. They had some losses down there early on that are still pretty embarrassing to them. Unfortunately, several schools, you wouldn't think that, like Louisiana Monroe, right? What's happened since 2012? Arkansas's lost to schools you would never have imagined them losing to. Cap, where's the cap, lone sportsman? Where's the cap? What am I wrong about? Come on, you got to give me. Don't just call me a liar without backing it up. You got to be able to back it up, my guy. Where's the cap? He's the greatest to ever do it. Tom Brady, you can make some arguments for. Okay, there's been some great quarterbacks who didn't have the Super Bowl rings. Dan Marino comes to mind, but there's no other Tom Brady, and he did it at multiple places. Kurt Warner came close, but that wouldn't put Kurt in the greatest category because how many rings, how much hardware does Brady own? I wonder if Saban already has an heir chosen. He might. Tell your audience that I called this after Bama. I shared yours. I'm not going to lie, Dad. I shared that screenshot in Discord. Nobody responded to it, so I just took it down. But, yeah, no, you did. The evidence is in – the evidence was in Discord. I took it down, but I have the screenshot. He did. Arky56 called it. Ty, did we lose 3 – well, I know they lost out on 1. I was going to save some of that for Friday's show. But Maz Kua, the offensive lineman out of Florida, picked Nebraska over Arkansas. So, yeah. Chad Morris for Bama head coach. Hit the like button. Yeah, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the sponsors. The Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria, located on Emma Street in Springdale. Fantastic pies. Awesome environment. Great staff. Go check them out. If you're in town for a basketball game, why not stop by and grab you a pie? Tell them Ty sent you. That's the Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria located on Emma Street in Springdale. The Rams and the Steelers were playing the Super Bowl this year. Listen, I am a Rams fan, but I'm blunt. I think they're one of the bottom 4 teams in the playoffs. I like that win over the Niners because I hate the 49ers. I don't know if there's another team that I despise more in any sport for any team. Maybe the Cubs. I despise the Cubs. But I hate the 49ers. so much, and that was such a great win. You know, I'm glad they were able to they got in. That's great. When they're healthy, I think the Rams are dangerous. I mean, they got a pair of receivers that are great. Saban won the SEC West in year 2 and the Natty in 2009. Yeah, so he started off year 1 was not great. Remember, they had to go to the Independence Bowl. They finished 3rd in the SEC West. Yeah, the next year they were better. They went undefeated in the SEC. But year 1 was not great for them. They did win the Independence Bowl. They lost, if I'm looking at this right, for some reason I remember that 2008 year, them winning the Sugar Bowl. I see here it says they lost the Sugar Bowl, and then they went on in 2009 to win the BCS National Championship. They won Capital One, back-to-back national championships. His record, 201-29 at Alabama. I mean, again, tell me where the cap is. Where's the cap? 6 national titles at Bama alone. 1 at LSU. What was that, 2003 at LSU when he won the title? Yeah. I think that's right because he finished the following year. I don't remember what I thought I had it up here, but I don't. Yeah, man, I don't know. Spot the lie. Call it cap all you want. It's not. I don't think there's a better coach. Numbers speak for themselves. 117 and 18, almost 100 more conference wins total. I said 201. That was combined SEC. I'm sorry. 201 and 29 is the 201 and 29 is the Alabama record. The total record since being in the SEC was 292 and 71 and 1. 117 and 18 is his overall conference. I believe that's right. He was at Miami for a short while in the NFL. We know that didn't go great. Nothing new. Nothing new. Great college coaches going to the NFL and struggling. That's just, I mean, Matt Rule, Saban. You could say Petrino, even though he wasn't there, very long, but he was still there. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lane Kiffin. Who the hell is going to take this job? The names, I didn't put them up on my screen, but I have, you've got, pull up these. Steve Sarkisian is a name that comes up. I have such a hard time seeing Bama. The idea that Bama can grab anyone is probably, I don't know. You have to mention buyouts, and his buyout, Steve Sarkisian's buyout at Texas, is $15 million. Dan Lanning, Danny Lanning at Oregon, he's got a $20 million buyout. Kalen DeBoer, I don't see that happening. I don't see him leaving Washington. Or I don't see Bama going after him. I think he would leave Washington for the job, but he's only got a $12 million buyout. I don't know Lane Kiffin's buyout at Ole Miss. Why isn't the Lane Kiffin talk getting more heat? Like, I'm seeing his name pop up. It's like 1 out of every maybe 3 lists. They're leaving Kiffin off, and I'm like, why? Isn't that – it seems like – and maybe he just got an extension, and I just missed it. But, of course, we don't know what it is. Apparently it's – I don't know why. Dabo Swinney, who's that's his alma mater, and that's been the rumor, but he's got a massive buyout. At $60 million. I don't know who they go and get. I really don't. It feels like you could kind of toss any name in there. Who wants that job? Because if you don't have it figured out, if you're not killing it on the recruiting trail, and you lose or even just have a close game, and you finish 8-4 year 1, you're already on the hot seat. Of course, he exits when Arkansas doesn't. Of course, that's how this works. Arkansas doesn't have Bama in 2024. Of course. So, again, those names are Sarkisian, Lanning, DeBoer, Kiffin, and Dabo Swinney. There were some more names. Kirby Smart. Why would he leave Georgia? I don't see that happening. I think DeBoer would be a fascinating hire. You always wonder about someone like that coming into the SEC. I don't know a lot about his history, but that seems like an outsider hire. But you know what? Saban was an outside hire to LSU. Saban, this is where he's been. Of course, he was a GA. Think about this. He was a GA at Kent State in 1973. That is insane. He coached linebackers at Kent State, Syracuse. Let's see. Let's get him into the modern era. Of course, he coached defensive backs at Ohio State in the early 80s. He was the Michigan State head coach before he took LSU. Now, he was a defense coordinator at the Cleveland Browns back in the early 90s. But then he was at Michigan State. This guy had no SEC connections. This is why I don't buy the you have to have SEC connections to win here. I don't buy that. I just don't. And Saban is proof of that. He did it at two different jobs. Say what you want about Les Miles, but we saw what he did. He won a title, and then maybe he just overstayed his welcome at LSU. He was at Toledo before he took the Cleveland Brown job, defense coordinator job. But yeah, he was at Michigan State for just 4 seasons. And then he goes to LSU for 4 seasons, the Dolphins, and then in 2007 he's hired at Alabama. 19-12 in bowl games. My God. That's crazy. Like, he's just guaranteed a bowl game every year he coaches. It's insane. As a head coach, he's just guaranteed a bowl game. I don't know if this is – yeah, it says his playoff record was 9-5. And again, 292-71-1 is his overall coaching record. That is insane. I don't know. We lost the one guy. Yeah, we talked about him, Maskua. All right, moving on. I know no one wants to talk about really any of these subjects because everyone's jumped off the wagon when it comes to Arkansas basketball. And we've got tip-off here in a little bit anyways. What's up, Addison? Nobody wants the Alabama job, period, Ty. Well, I wouldn't say nobody, Addison. I think that's a little – I wouldn't go that far. I mean, they have the resources, the you know, they have the they can go anywhere, do whatever they want. They have the power. They're going to be able to hit NIL like crazy. Now, that doesn't guarantee success. I mean, these are giant shoes to fill. I'm still on the wagon. We're going to turn it around, says Honcho. All right. I do have Georgia winning tonight. That piss poor performance, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. That team completely let go of the rope. Listen, all the respect in the world to Auburn, and had some Auburn people come into that live or not the live chat, but they came in and commented later. They were all shocked. They were saying we were afraid of this game. Going to Bud Walton, Eric Musselman, the Razorbacks, the history. Are you kidding me? We shouldn't go in there and do that, and they did. And they were just as shocked as anybody. They're a good team. I still would put Auburn at least top 3 in the SEC. That just seems like an easy pick. But we'll see, moving forward what they do. Can they maintain that level of play? Are they 30-plus points better than Arkansas? No. I still don't think that. No. Arkansas is not a good basketball team, but what I saw in the second half, and I didn't even watch the first half. I rewatched the second half. I've just never seen such a lack of execution, a lack of effort. It's just so, and I know we saw it live and we could see it, but to see it again, it's like, okay, I'm not crazy. These people that are saying this online are not crazy. People in Discord are not crazy. There was a huge lack of effort by Arkansas in the second half. Is Auburn a better team right now? Absolutely, and it's not even close. Is Georgia a better team? You want to talk about fluidity, everyone being on the same page? That is an extremely well-coached team of a bunch of mid-level players I've ever seen. Talent-wise, they're probably bottom 5 of the SEC. They should not have the record they have, and yet they do. They are a really balanced defensive team. This is going to be a tough test. They've got some size. They can go about 8 deep, maybe 9. I mean, you'll probably see them rotate, maybe more, but they can legitimately go toe-to-toe. They've got size. again, talent, athleticism, all that stuff, it's Arkansas, right? This is, again, I stand by what I said at the beginning of the year before the Purdue game. Arkansas is one of the most talented and deepest teams in this league. Certainly one of the deepest teams. They don't have fluidity. There's no chemistry. What you're going to watch tonight, now I could be wrong. Georgia could shit the bed. Arkansas maybe figures it out. I don't know. I mean, God only knows what team shows up tonight for Arkansas. But if you want to watch good chemistry, it's Georgia. The more I watch them, the more it's just good chemistry. They play well together. Again, they're really well coached. And I'm kind of surprised. I'm really surprised, actually. Not a big fan of their head coach. Didn't think he did that well at Florida. Thought he was very mid. I think he took Florida to one Elite Eight, and that was it. I mean, the guy struggled in the tournament. Very almost Mike Anderson-esque, although Mike never made it that far in the tournament. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, Florida's a job where, Sweet 16 could be the standard there. I mean, it really could. Elite Eight, they won titles. We know that. But they've, that's neither here nor there. But Georgia looks to me like a team that could go on a tournament. They could be a tournament team. I'm not prepared to put them in yet. Again, their talent level just really low. They're not an elite offensive team. They do have, I think it's 2, maybe 3 players on their roster that are shooting north of about 34% outside. Again, they can play with some size. They can go with you toe-to-toe. And where's Arkansas been the weakest? The perimeter defense has been awful, but they've not been. It's been very easy to get buckets around the rim on Arkansas. They don't go to the free throw line a lot. Like Arkansas, one of their go-tos under Musselman is getting to the free throw line, and if they don't, and they're struggling scoring, and they're struggling getting any offensive rhythm going, well, then they find a way to get to the free throw line, and they make up their points there, even though they're not shooting great there, but they're shooting okay. I don't know what to make of this team, guys. I really don't. They're nowhere near they're not NIT. They're not NCAA. My God, I think Fayetteville High, Springdale High would give these guys a run for their money. I'm just so disappointed in what I'm seeing. I'm so disappointed in what I'm seeing out of Arkansas. And maybe tonight they prove everybody wrong and they start to get it figured out. I don't know. They've dug themselves in such a deep hole. The Must Bus has got a couple of flat tires, and I don't know, man. Someone's got to be willing to change the tire. I'm not seeing leadership. I'm just seeing a lot of lackadaisical play defensively. Their transition defense at times looks better. And then they'll go 5, 6, 7 possessions in a row where you think, my God, what are they doing in transition? On both ends of the floor, but mostly defensive, on the defensive end of the floor. When these guys need to be getting back in their spot on the defensive side of the floor. I'm just not. I don't know. They don't look disciplined. We're getting silly fouls, silly technicals. Graham standing over players. Brazil flapping his jaws a little bit. I don't mind that. I don't mind you flapping your jaws. But when you go so far as when you're drawing technicals on the floor like they have, and yeah, and I'll agree, Musselman's gone too far. When you're drawing technicals and you're giving away possessions and you're giving up free points in a possession, that drives me as insane as not hitting your free throws, maybe even more, because you're giving up points and a possession, and that could be a 5-point swing or worse. So there's just, I don't know, must to me, and I said it last. I said in the when was that? Was that Monday? It looks to me like he's. I don't know. I'm not saying he's given up on his guys. I'm not saying that, but I kind of think he gets it. He knows. I don't think I've got it this year. I don't think this team is going to – I don't know that we're ever going to find the right chemistry, that I'm ever going to find the right rotation, that I'm going to get the – not that your starting 5 matters. I think rotation matters the most, and then matchups, individual matchups matter the most. But I just don't think he knows who his starters are. I don't think he really understands. I should say understands. He understands better than any of us all combined. It's his team. But, I mean, I don't think in his head he feels comfortable with the rotations that he's had. This really could be a rough year. Now, I mean, that goes without saying. I get it. But I mean, like, really rough. Like, maybe just a few conference wins rough. like maybe worse than any year Mike has ever had when he was here, or Palfrey or Stan Heath. This could be a bad year. Now, I'm saying it could be. The plus side is this team is still super talented. They've got seniors, they've got scorers, but again, they're just missing so much more. So, Georgia again, you know, when you look at these guys, they're not going to do you any favors in the net ranking. They're at 85. Arkansas's at 106. I'm actually surprised they're at 106. This was as of yesterday morning, I think, when I looked. Of course, neither team is ranked. Ken Palm, Arkansas is actually ahead of Georgia, 71-72. Their offense, when you look at their offensive numbers, they're just not a very good team. I mean, they're effective field goal shooting. They're right outside the top 150. Offensive efficiency, Arkansas is pretty far ahead of them, actually, at 65. Georgia at 111. They're 204 in the rankings at 2-point percentage. The 101 at 3-point percentage. Again, Arkansas, you know, pretty far behind them there. We get that they're not a great 3-point shooting team, and they just don't foul a lot. I mean, they play pretty good ball. I mean, you know, overall they're a very good defensive team. Now that's where the script starts to flip a little bit. They're a top 50 defensive efficiency team. You know, now Arkansas, we know, is one of the elite shot blocking teams in the country. They're still in the top 10. You know, Georgia, with all that size, they're not even in the top 200. You'd think they'd be at least top 100 with some of the size they can play with. Their expected starting five: Russell Tachua, I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. RJ Sanhara, Jabrari Abdur-Rahim, Noah Tomasin, Silas Damari. He's their point. He's number 4. He's shooting roughly about 42% from the floor. He's 6'5". So, again, Noah, who's 6'4", 210. I mean, they could have everyone on the floor is going to be about 6'4", 6'5", or taller. RJ Sanahara, 6'8", and Russell Tachua, 7 foot, 275 pounds. And I don't know if I looked at this right. I've got him at 70, almost 77% at the free throw line. I don't know if that's that might be a typo. Almost 70. I've got him at 77. I have him at 76.9% at the free throw line. Well, if that's the case, he's either not taking a lot of shots or he's a damn good free. He's got the moves to get to the right. It's all on the wrist, right? Is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm looking at all these. I copy and pasted my numbers on top of each other, so it just looks crazy. But yeah, I've got him at 77%, so he's pretty effective at the free throw line. I'm assuming he's not taking a lot of shots, and he's just making almost 80% of them. But they can go a little deep. R.J. Melendez, Justin Hill, Jalen Deloach, Blue Kane, those are the guys that can come off the bench. Again, they can go about 9 deep, 8 to 9 deep. I don't know what they're going to do tonight as far as starters. I think it's kind of a toss-up, but you'll probably see Brazil. I don't know if they go with Brazil, Lawson, and Graham. Maybe they do. After all, the first half wasn't horrible against Auburn, so maybe he keeps with what he did in the first half and he applies that in this game. I don't know. But, yeah, Minifield I expect to start. This is a must-win game. Make no mistake about it. This is a game that Arkansas's got to win because you turn around. Where is it? So tonight, it's going to be 9 p.m. for them over there. But for us, it's 8 p.m. So here in just a little more than an hour and a half. And then after that, January 13th, you're back on the road. And I don't know who put that together. You're in Gainesville. 3 days later, you're right back on that side of the country. You're back in that Eastern time zone. Who the hell? What are they going to stay the night over there? Like, this is a must-win, man. Yeah, you got to win them all, right? You're at that point. You'd like to go on a nice little win streak here. Georgia's not an elite team. Florida's not an elite team. Those are both games that are within reach for Arkansas. If that team that played Duke, UNC, Wilmington, Purdue shows up, yeah, they're absolutely capable of winning 3 straight. But they're so wildly inconsistent. We know that's probably not going to happen. Could you imagine if they do that though? If they beat Georgia on the road, Florida on the road, and then back at home against A&M, who I think is their potential is the best of the 4 games that they have coming up, because after that you got South Carolina, and they've got an impressive record, but they're going to hit a wall in SEC play. They already kind of have, along with Ole Miss. I told you guys, Ole Miss is they're going to get shit on. What happened? They went to Tennessee and they got shit on. I tried telling you, Ole Miss people who come through here, you're in for a wake up call. There it is. But A&M, I think, potentially is better than everyone they've got coming up outside of the January 27th matchup against Kentucky. But yeah, I've got them losing this. I don't think they could beat Florida. I mean, they can. I don't think they do. And then they come back January 16th and play. I'm surprised, hell, they didn't give them at Georgia, at Florida, and then after that at South Carolina, in Columbia. Bastards. God, that's so stupid. And it's a 9 p.m. game. It'd be one thing maybe you could. I don't even think you could explain that with it even being an 8 p.m. tip off in Florida. No, because you still you're gonna have to come home, eat, rest, and then you're right back on the road. So yeah, tonight is a must-win game because it doesn't get any easier, And of course, you start off your first home or your second home game is against a team who I think potentially is one of the top 3 teams in the SEC if they can get there, is A&M. So that's what you come home to. It's no cupcake when you come home. At least it shouldn't be. Oh, it's a mess, you guys. It is an absolute mess. Florida looks way better than us. They do. Florida does look better. Never getting to beat Saban blows, says Red Hog. College basketball is an illusion. Play decent enough to make the tournament, beat a bad team, get hot for a couple more. Oh, my God, we're in the Elite Eight, says Bobby Shiz. I mean, that's happened before. I mean, that team last year was not a good regular season team. They went 8-10 in conference play, looked like pure shit, and of course, no Brazil, no Smith. The team just lacked chemistry. I mean, sounds familiar, doesn't it? And then they found a way to get to the Sweet 16. So, I mean, yeah, but what matters is net rankings do matter. And here's the problem, and I know everyone wants to shoo them away. Man, they're pretty close to – they're pretty accurate. I've talked to Blake Lovell about it. Blake Lovell, that's what he does. He covers basketball over there for SEC or for Southeastern 14. They'll tell you. Those guys over there will tell you. Those net rankings matter. And where you're at right now, it's not just that simple. You just beat a bad team. It's not that simple. You're going to have to win some games you're not supposed to win 110%. That might be these next 2 games. You're not – I don't think anyone's going to pick Arkansas to win either of these next 2 games. I don't know many people that would pick them to beat A&M, to be honest, but a lot could change in the next 2-3 games. I foresee NIL, cars, and other goodies drying up for players that quit on us. Okay. We just got embarrassed at home in a no conference. Wait, we just got embarrassed at home in a no conference, then got annihilated by 32 points. But are you saying that Arkansas didn't look great in non-conference play and then they got embarrassed against Auburn? I think that's what you're trying to say. And yeah, they definitely were not. They were not great in non-conference play. I agree. Chris Beard will put a fire under your ass and he will make you fight when you play every play of the game. Yeah. Well, you talk about a coach falling in their lap. Oh, my gosh. I honestly don't think it's Muss. It's the players. I agree with that. And I said a couple of weeks ago, people were complaining about some of his antics. Man, that's been him everywhere he's ever been. He was that way at Nevada. The discipline on the floor. These guys have to be responsible for themselves, right? It's like when guys get penalties on the field in football. I mean, some of that is on the coaching. I agree. Some of it is on the coaching, but and you can work on that stuff in practice. But sometimes the choices these guys make on the floor, it's just. And Muss could set a better example. Fine. I mean, like I said, I conceded that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, he could do better. I don't like it when he draws technicals. It's not a good look for the rest of his players. It's on that staff to rein him in. It's on him and that staff to rein in the players. But at the same time, these kids on the floor have got to take responsibility. I think that's such a big damn problem we have. I don't want to go on a rant, but like people have to take responsibility for themselves. That includes these guys on the floor. James Taylor, it's an awesome name. Defense is what's wrong with basketball. No one wants to lead on this team. James, you're absolutely right. Defense is a problem, 110%. Jerron Green says, please play ball. Please play Bay Fall. Please, at least maybe he will give some effort. He has shown effort. I mean, he's a freshman, but so is Blocker, right? And Blocker's shown us a lot. But I think he still needs to put on some weight. He's got to put on some weight. He's got to bulk up. He's got to. But I love the way that kid plays. I really think. I hope him and Blocker both stick it out here. Fishman says 100% Musselman's fault. Oh God, Fish. You're exhausting. You know that. And by the way, you get one pick, Fish. One prediction in predictions. You know this. Just one. You don't get to give me two coaches. You got to give me one. 100% players don't respect the coaches or believing. Well, and some of it could just be lack of buy-in. I mean, that's got to be something, maybe they're just not bought in. You brought in these transfers. Now, if you want to blame Musselman for, I don't know, bringing in guys that didn't buy into his system, I guess. I don't know how he could see that when you're watching video on these players and you're talking to them. I mean, we're not a part of that conversation when these assistants and Musselman is exchanging phone calls with these guys or whatever, however that process goes. Was it misevaluation? We love to bring that up. It's always the inability to evaluate properly. Is that what's going on here? None of these guys. To me, it's just a chemistry issue, and it just might be we've mentioned it about 100 times, but it seems like a bunch of eyes on the floor, a bunch of individuals. I mean, it really does. Musselman has a system. You know what I mean. When I mean system, of course he doesn't run. We know his reputation on offense. I get that, Bobby. All right, take a chill pill, sir. I'm saying his system, the way he coaches, the way he practices, the way he conditions, that whole thing. And then, yeah, defensively they do things. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about set plays on offense, my guy. Just chill out. If fickle means I want to win, call me fickle. Who called you fickle? Who called you fickle? We have a lot of okay, Honcho did. We have a lot of fans that are so fickle they want Chris Beard to be the coach now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've not heard anyone say they want Chris Beard here. I think fans just expect to see a better finished product on the floor. I think that's what they want. I think they want to see a better product on the floor. I don't think sure, again, if you want to blame Musselman for bringing those guys in here and them not, fine, okay, whatever. But then what? We got to let him fix it, right? Fish, you act like you want to get rid of him, and that would be silly. That would be. I hope that's not your take. We have talent without consistency or effort or execution. Is that Stephen Brimley? L. Ellis averaged 19 points per game last year. This year, how many? I mean, look at Tremont Mark, Battle. Minifield, what he did last year, I mean, he was one of the best freshmen in that league a year ago. And we saw what happened. Like, if you're going to blame Musselman for all the issues, then you've got to give him credit for what he did with Minifield. I mean, we'll see if he can keep that going. But Minifield has been he was a very pleasant surprise. And I don't know. Again, we're going to find out a lot tonight. We're going to find out a lot, but they've got to win. I don't know what anybody does. I hope we get to see Minifield get back to what he was doing a couple of games ago, and this team show us some damn consistency. Now, we won't see that tonight because obviously you're only playing the one game. But, I mean, over the next 3 or 4 games, I want to see them play at a much higher elevated level than what we witnessed at home against Auburn. That just, God in heaven. That was embarrassing. I hope tonight someone – oh, it's so heavy. This totally real gold chain that's definitely not plastic. It's so heavy. I hope Arkansas wins tonight and I can wear this on someone's behalf. Hang on, I got to put this down on the desk here. Hang on. Wait for it. God, it's so heavy. Anyways, get over there. I will be here for the post game. So we're knocking out 2 shows. Again, I'm picking Georgia. Until Arkansas can prove us all wrong, I don't see any reason to pick. I'm not picking them, and I wouldn't pick them against Florida right now either. But maybe tonight they can change some minds. That's the great thing about basketball is like you can elevate your excitement for one game, and that's fine. But then you're going to need to see that again, right, before you really start to buy in. There's nothing wrong with being excited about a win. And tonight, if you went into Georgia, who's red hot, who I think their fans are going to be excited. Their basketball program appears to be relevant for the first time in a really long time. I'm sure that place is going to be as wild as it can be on a 9:00 Wednesday night. It's 9:00 there. Again, just a reminder, 8:00 here. If you get a win there, that's something to be excited about. But again, more people will hop on that bandwagon or back on that bandwagon if you could do that a couple more times. If you can go down to Gainesville on a short turnaround, and get that win, back-to-back wins, that would be really impressive. Now we might be cooking with grease. We might be cooking with duck fat, all right? With gator fat. I don't want to say bulldog fat. That's disturbing, and I like bulldogs. That's not a Fayetteville High thing. That's just you can ask my wife. That's what I want our next dog to be, an English bulldog. I'm jealous of Otis Kirk and his bulldogs. Anyways, all right. I'll be here for the post game. I'm hoping we have something to be excited about. But I am taking Georgia. I have no idea. It feels like it's going to be a low-scoring, probably shit show. Something like 66-58 or 60. I don't know. They're a good defensive team, so we'll have to wait and see. E. Clay Thomason says, who you going to get? Every Alabama fan. Who you going to get? That's right. Okay. It's not Muss. He's having to play roulette every game on team chemistry. Yeah, that's tricky with that many transfers. It really is. So, all right. That's it. I'll see you guys tonight on the post-game show. Enjoy the game. Hopefully we're not raging again tonight. Hopefully someone's wearing the gold chain, or I'm wearing the gold chain on their behalf because they get player of the game. I don't know, man. So, all right. I'll see you guys in the post game. I don't know. Have a cold one on me.